Whole market just crapped the bed today. Tesla fell with it down 6.55%. And we were saying that there is a chance that Tesla would hit 240 before the move back down to 210 or $200. And it seems like after today, we're not going to get that move to $240 and that the move back down to 210 and 200 might come first. Now, what we've been looking at is this market bias indicator that you can see here on the daily. When price is trading above that, we are in a bullish trend, and that is obviously a good sign. What we really want to see alongside of that bullish trend is for price to be making higher highs and for this BX trender, which is the indicator at the bottom of your screen, to start to make higher lows. We do not want to see lower highs into lower lows. That's a sign that we're usually hitting a top and that price is going to pull back. In most cases, price is going to pull back into the market bias. If you guys want to know how to use these indicators, just check out the link in the description. It's completely free for all of our courses, and you'll find the market bias course right there. What we're seeing today, which is not a good sign, is that price did not push back up to 240 and then reject as we were expecting. Price actually rejected early, hitting a high yesterday of about 235, and now is pulling back down into this low. The thing that really sucks about this close is that the BX trender, which you can see here, has actually made a lower low. And in most cases, what will happen there is we will reject off the market bias and continue to sell off. For instance, the S&P 500 shows a very good example of that occurring today, where price broke it, pushed back up, and ended up rejecting. So it does seem that Tesla will probably reject from this level and continue to pull back. Now, the question is to where? Where will this end up pulling back to? Well, we've been saying 210 and $200 with a worst case of 190 because of a couple of reasons. Number one, the weekly market bias, which is this jankier one that you see here. If we just zoomed out, you'd be able to see it like that, but I have an overlay on. Most cases, price will continue to pull back into that level before catching a bounce. So what I think is going to happen is price is probably going to continue to pull back into 200, worst case 190. From there, bounce, break through 230, and hopefully move our way back up to $300 plus by the end of the year. Now, my plan was to close out my calls that I had for December, or at least kind of scale. So for those of you who are newer to the channel, I should say, I have December calls for Tesla. 260 is the strike. We're obviously below that right now, but I'm only in with about 50% of my planned position. I entered, most of them around this 240 area before earnings. My plan was if it pulled back to 220, I would add more, which is what I did. And then if it pulled back to 200, I would add my last 50%. So it does seem like we're going to get that pullback down to 200, and I'm going to end up averaging down. My plan was for price to push back to 240, and I could maybe close a little bit out before that, maybe grab some puts, but that didn't end up happening. And now that we have this confirmation of the lower low on the BX trender, that is usually our sign that the sell off will continue. So at this point, I'm still just holding on to my position. I'm not planning to grab puts. I'm not trying to time this. I was going to do that if my level of 240 got hit, which it has not. So I'm not going to do anything but sit and wait. I obviously believe that over the next 6 months to 12 months, Tesla's going to do very well. And I do believe enough that I ended up getting in before earnings because we were over that market bias. And my thought process was that if we just broke out because of earnings, I wouldn't want to miss this run. So at this point, everything's fine. Trade is still in play. Our stop loss level would be somewhere around 180 to 175 because that would be a clear break of the market bias. And if that occurred, we would most likely continue to sell off to $130 over the next year or two, which I do not think is going to happen. If you guys want to trade with me each and every single day or take any of our free courses, check out our free resources down below. Thank you guys for all the support. I'll see you next time.